Okay, this is episode 18, and it's been a long time coming, actually several months. Jen wanted to keep this going regularly, and compared to our YouTube videos and Instagram and other things we're doing, it got pushed aside. And so what we decided to do a little bit differently is you're watching this on YouTube, you can listen to it on podcast, but at the same time, we're going to do this and replace a video, one of our weekly videos. So this will be on Thursday for right now. This the first one coming out Thursday. If you guys have not listened to a podcast, we kind of roll strategy together with what we're doing, a little bit of our personal life, and we'll eventually have some guests too. We have some guests that we've talked to and lined up, but we want to kind of introduce this and get this going forward first. And maybe we'll eventually get Dylan on here too. So
I think that would be a good idea.
yeah, I think so
Like
too.
when Dylan's here.
So I think, Jen, let's get this first one rolling. And
Okay, I'm
you guys
ready.
can kind of see the topics up here. And you got to remember, Jen's got jokes.
I think that's my favorite topic.
Is it?
Yeah,
Do you have one ready?
I think so.
Okay, we'll wait.
I was going to say
Keep
let's
people
not
in
share it.
suspense.
I know. Keep them listening. They're just waiting for
But
it.
so the first thing I wanted to talk about, personal stuff. A lot of people see us and see what we do. YouTube, get little glimpses. Instagram. For folks that don't follow on Instagram, they might not see our personal life because that's mostly, you shared a little bit on Facebook. I share very little on Facebook.
Yeah, most of it's on Instagram, I think.
So Instagram is typically where we're at, typically where we're sharing most everything. But for people on YouTube, they don't get to see that. So personal life, what's going on with you?
Well, we're having a baby.
Yep.
I didn't know if you knew.
Well, another one.
Well, second one, yeah.
Yeah, second
We're having
one,
a baby
yeah.
due in the beginning of April, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and we wanted for our kids to be 2 years apart. And
Yeah.
so Jax's birthday is March 30th and Jen's is March 25th.
Right.
And then
It's close.
baby girl, can we say the name? Or should we hold that back?
Oh, maybe hold it back for one episode.
Okay. But I like naming, it's been kind of nice. I have my 3 older kids, Autumn, Jake, and Sam. And they'll all be here this weekend. But and we didn't do this the first round, but with our 2 kids, it's been really nice naming them months before they're born because you feel like you have a connection with them already.
Right.
So that's been really enjoyable.
Yeah, you have your own dad connection now.
Yeah, and so we have a little girl coming, and
You can say the name.
no,
It's
I'm not saying.
fine.
I'm
Say
not
the
saying.
name.
Nope. Next episode. But that's some of the personal things that we're going through. A big one, anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exciting one.
and we're fortunate around here because Jen's family is from around here, so both sets of moms and dads and brother, sister, and 6 nieces and nephew, 5 nieces, 1 nephew.
They
Put
all
it that
live
way.
close, right?
Everyone lives close, and my family's out here all the time too. My kids are out here all the time. In fact, over the last 3 years, they come a lot.
Yeah, which is nice.
Awesome.
We like that. We enjoy it.
Yeah, and so Jen's got a really good outdoor background, and which includes hunting when you're a young girl, 12 years old, and gutting your first deer and almost all of your deer.
Yep.
And your dad basically gave you a knife and said, "Here you go."
Yeah, I'm not doing it for you.
Yeah. So you learn the fast way, the hard way.
Yeah, the hard way, yeah.
And then you're racing dirt bike.
Yep.
And so kind of that outdoor background. And one of the first things you did with the boys, and this was going back a couple of years or more,
Yeah.
but you went to Supercross up in the Twin Cities.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even tell Jeff about it. It was like,
No.
the boys were just like, hey, Dad, when we see you this weekend, he's like, what do you mean when you see me this weekend?
Yeah, that's what it was.
We're like, oh, yeah, we're doing stuff with Jen this weekend. So
I think I had a client on like Saturday. You were going up to the cities that day.
yeah, something. We left Jeff at home.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see Jen take that initiative and spend time with the boys. And
Yeah, we had
for
fun.
that, we have them out here all the time. I think they love coming to see you and their little brother. Like
And-
me,
right, and then you.
I mean, yeah, if I'm here, they care. If not, then
I mean, can you blame them?
whatever. But so that's in our personal life. Very active in that. A lot of people don't realize I go on my client trips, and we're trying to shrink that. Maybe go to 60, 65 clients this year. I peaked at 125 in 2020, and I've been whittling that down so I can spend more time at home and with family. But still, that's a trip usually every 10 months. I mean, for 10 months out of the year. And then, like yesterday, Dylan and I were filming videos we shot 14 videos, both shorts and longs, and for different partners. So that was a very full day. I think that's the most number we've ever shot, although the minutes weren't as long. But we got a lot of B-roll, cut chainsawed some stuff in the woods. And so today we had an important meeting about a future product. We can announce to everybody sometime soon.
Fingers crossed.
We find out next week.
Right.
On Wednesday. So we'll have already known this by the time you guys watch this. By the time people watch this. So. But it's very busy. We had a meeting with that at 1:00 today. The seed company takes a lot of Jen's time. She runs that, and then we have Wes, our full-time employee. He also goes to clients. Joe, Kevin, Dylan, they go to clients too. And Jesse schedules all the clients except for Joe. She schedules everybody else. So Taryn keeps track of our numbers at YouTube, and it really takes a team.
It sure
And the team keeps expanding.
Yeah.
And really, my goal out of all of it is I want to continue to always go to clients, but I'd maybe like 40. Does that sound better?
That sounds okay.
Like 30, 40, somewhere around there.
I mean, it's nice to have you out of the house a little bit, but maybe not that much.
Yeah. And for me, the one place I learn and continually learn, you learn doing it on your own, that kind of stuff, but you really get outside of your box when you go to clients, and you've had the privilege of doing that in the last year. You went to clients this year in December, and then over the summer you went to a few.
Yeah.
Clients we now consider friends.
It's fun how that works.
Yeah, those guys came, I think it was April, when you were out in Michigan.
Yeah, you're right.
But those guys, Todd and Blake, they came and came out for the charity event, and I think they're coming again this year.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's always busy, and we blend that with, all this stuff going on, and then trying to get work done on the property.
Right.
And
seems like a lot.
Dylan and I were out yesterday, and one of the things we're doing right now a lot is we're really reevaluating our stand locations, blinds from last year, and where we can move and access different roads coming in, water holes. And I was excited because Dylan and I are out filming, but at the same time, it's, what do you think of this tree? Dylan and I had a little disagreement on a tree yesterday. What did you think of that tree?
I didn't mind it. I see why Dylan doesn't like it as much. It's not the perfect camera stand for Dylan. And the deer are at eye level. So you got to really be careful about all
you're like 4 feet above them.
You're pretty much at eye level.
Yeah.
With these deer, so you got to be really careful about where you're moving, making sure that you pick certain pockets of when you're moving, especially when you're bow hunting.
Right.
You're making a little bit more movement there when you're pulling your bow back, but it's good. I like it. I can appreciate why Dylan does not.
Sure. Yeah, I can too. We forgive you, Dylan.
This time.
It's okay. But
I feel like I side with Dylan a lot.
Yeah, I think you do.
I do. I think I side with him more than I side with you.
Well, and part of that, one of the reasons we have a mock scrape at every stand location is because, for one, when the deer comes in, they're working the mock scrape, they're not paying attention to the camera nearby, but they're also not paying attention to the hunter in the tree.
No, they're not.
And in this case, we're going to have a water hole too. So when you have a water hole, mock scrape, there's a lot to keep the attention of the deer and their focus, other than watch us draw a bow and shoot them. So, but that's what we're doing right now. That's kind of Dylan and I. Yesterday it was so nice. It was 50 degrees and sunny, blue sky.
And at the end of January.
Yeah, it was January 30th.
No, I think that's today.
31st.
No, today's the 30th. It was the 29th yesterday.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But it's warm. Like abnormally warm for this time of year. It's supposed to be like 50 this weekend.
Yeah. They keep me straight on the dates. That's I need a team, for that, and days and everything. But
my gosh.
But no, it's crazy this time of year to have that. So I told Dylan, we love coming in here on the whiteboard, but I did not want to go in here when we could be out there.
No, you said that. The first thing you said yesterday morning was, I don't want to film inside.
Well, I could feel the warmth on my neck. It
outside?
Was so nice. Yeah, it was awesome. And so, Dylan and I went around the property, and then I couldn't wait to bring you out and show you some of the things that we'd looked at and
Sure.
discussed, because it's kind of like Dylan and I do this when we're out in the field, and the first thing I do is, hey, babe.
Bring me out there for approval,
And
I
then, of
guess.
course, Jackson. We have a little slim car seat that sits in the middle in the back so he can go out.
He loves it.
Yeah. What's your favorite setup that we've talked about so far this year? We have that one by Buck Corner.
Yep.
We've talked about changing the bottom plot with the culvert, moving the timber over so there's more of an opening there.
Sure.
Excuse me. And then also 67 point, and then also 67 bottom on the bottom scrape.
Yeah,
No,
but
I mean, not 67 bottom, the bottom scrape.
right.
Out of all those.
I think I could narrow it down to two, which would be the 67 point and the bottom scrape. However, if I had to narrow it between those two, I think I would say the bottom scrape. There's been so much activity there for the last, 2.5, 3 years, but we've never been able to really get down in there and
Right.
hunt that. So we're thinking about putting a redneck down there, which will be a large task, but if we can, it'll be a perfect place for one. And it
Right.
can be set up for bow and for gun.
And we would have a water hole at 25 yards, and the scrape trail would be at 25
Right.
yards.
And this would not be a stand that is a morning or afternoon. This is an all day set. Whether
yeah, when you get down there.
you're not coming back out, and just you're not coming
But
back out.
pretty easy to get into.
Right. Exactly.
It's steep
It
down,
is steep,
but we
but-
have a road to get in there, and it's close from the house. I bet you we could be sitting in the redneck within 15 minutes,
I would say so.
compared to a 40-minute walk up Coon Valley,
Sure. Right.
which is horrible.
Yeah, but down there you're in an intimate part of the property that we really haven't been in during any sort of deer season, except for the first time you were on the property. That's right around the place where you and Dylan hunted the first time.
It is. It's crazy. It'll be to think that we sat there for the first time in 2020. That was my first sit. Was down there in a ladder stand. Pretty invasive getting in. Pretty invasive getting out. We did okay. But part of that, we relied on south winds blowing up into the steep draw behind us.
Sure.
And we'll do the same now.
Yep.
And so kind of we're actually more in the draw
Yeah.
than we were last time. And so we blow it up into a gorge. Now, once you get past that gorge, about, I would say 100 yards from the stand is where it gets into more deer activity. But we're hoping with the redneck that we'll be able to contain our scent a little bit.
Yeah, and
have a
with
good
that, we've talked about this a lot with clients, but also you and I and Dylan and probably several other people, that with the containment of that redneck with our scent, if the winds aren't ideal, are we still going to sit there?
Probably not.
Why?
Probably not. I just, I feel like with the rednecks, it cuts down scent a little bit.
Sure.
I don't know if it cuts it down with the windows closed 80%, 20%, 50%. I don't know.
But not enough where we don't want to spook,
I don't want to risk it.
Right.
And so, part of that is we have a lot of other options.
We do.
This isn't 40 acres, and this is one of our go-to stands out of 6, and we're going to go down there. Even when we design whitetail properties, 40-acre parcel usually has 11 or 12 stands.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your favorite, and
I know which one you're going to pick.
well, you're probably thinking the 67 point.
Well, I am.
And I believe that will be, we have to put a road to get in, which isn't much. It's through an open area already, just to get in to put water in. And then we have to put a road to walk in, which is a switchback. So we already have half the switchback
Yeah.
that goes from the bottom to the field. Jared's got to complete the rest back to the stand location. The reason we want that is it's very steep. So by having a flat access and using the terrain and going up slowly, we'll walk a long ways in, but we won't have a really steep vertical climb except for the portion from the bottom up on the existing trail.
Right.
Existing trail we'll plant in our Green Max traffic blend, which is a mix of 4 grasses, vetch, clover, and birdsfoot trefoil. So it's a cover that we can actually mow and gets thick, but it doesn't get tall. So we're going to leave a lot of scent in. It's quiet. And when he cuts that road in, we're going to be below grade even more as far as it's going to rise up the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll protect us getting in the morning. We can only get in there in the morning. And then we go out. Where do you want to go out?
Well, I don't want to go out at Snake Point, but that's where we're going.
Jen hates snakes. And
Can't
so we have
stand 'em.
a place called Snake Point because it's perfect rabbit.
Snaky.
Yeah, it's perfect rattlesnake habitat. So, but that's kind of what we have going on here. We also did some edge cutting Jen, you haven't even seen that.
No, not yet.
Can't wait to show you that, and I'll do some more. I'm gonna go out there. Jen won't let me cut by myself, so she
It's
doesn't
a
want
whole
me to cut.
safety concern thing, you know.
Yeah, whatever. But anyways, no, and Wes is here maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday morning.
Sure.
I'll go out there and finish that job on that side of the point. What I'm doing though is I'm cutting trees along the edge. We already have an edge that is anywhere from 30 yards to 70 yards wide before the food plot. Mix of briars, gray dogwood, and various trees, shrubs that are growing in. So then I can drop that edge and drop those trees perpendicular to the edge straight into the field. That allows sunlight to go back into that woods, taking down a lot of those exterior branches, and then I'm leaving enough room in between those cuttings for deer to get in and out of the woods and back up to the food plot. So increasing hardwood regeneration, increasing the width of the overall edge and diversity so it has more of a mix from switchgrass up on the food plot to shrubs, bushes, briars, grasses, weeds, hardwood regen, some hinge cuts, some total cuts, and then finally hardwoods.
Well, and that's going to, excuse me, that'll increase that depth of cover too. So hopefully those does and fawns will
Can bed closer
to the food,
Right.
whereas your mature bucks, hopefully, and that we've kind of had a problem with that area over there the last couple of years. We haven't, I think we figured it out. We just haven't done enough to help that bedding enough. So I think by you doing a bunch of that stuff,
Yeah, it's like there's so many other areas to work on. We've done a lot out there.
we have.
Think of all the switchgrass,
Oh my
and
gosh.
we cleared that food plot in the
man.
first place. We had to clear it going back to with Dylan in 2021. It was just a field with brush and briars and trees, and we ran over the trees and sprayed them. We eventually cut them down with a chainsaw. Dante helped us 2 years ago at Easter time. Remember that? That was an entire Easter.
It was
day.
so thick out there that when you're driving the tractor through with a brush hog, like you can't see beyond a foot in front of you. So you have no idea what's there until you break through and you're like,
Yeah.
we made it. It was wild.
And we cleared it more and more. We basically cleared 4.5 acres
Yeah,
for that food plot. So we've done a lot.
we have.
But it's just all these little pieces, and so these are some of the remaining pieces back there. That morning stand on the point, and then the switchgrass will come in this year.
Yep.
That was a late bloom last year because we had so much drought.
Yeah.
So switchgrass popped up in July, mid-July, and when
Yeah.
it stops growing the end of August, it did get about 2 feet.
Yeah, I was going to say about that, I would say.
But we don't have a lot of weeds.
We don't.
So
We weed controlled that really well.
yeah, so this year it's going to explode. We'll hit it with simazine before spring green up.
And we're going to frost seed some switchgrass over there too.
Sure.
On the on the power line side also.
Right, and other than that, we've been changing trail cam batteries,
Yeah.
and relocating trail cameras, primarily for shed antler hunting and to get buck patterns and
Yep.
to see what bucks survived.
Yeah, that's been fun.
So, what's your favorite survival buck so far?
Oh.
Which one are you most hoping would come and buy your stand as of right now?
Ocho.
Ocho.
Yeah.
He's
Ocho.
a big wide 8-point.
Big wide 8. Every time. Well, or LL Beams. LL Beams is so pretty. He's got like
Okay.
these. I know I just picked 2, but he's got these like chocolate horns with like white tips.
And LL Beams will be 6 next year.
Yeah, well.
Ocho will be 5.
Yeah. What are yours?
Well, I was just going to ask you, what about McFly?
I like McFly for next year. I hope, maybe he'll, his flyer will be, I don't know, bigger, different.
He's a big frame.
He is a huge frame, and so I wonder, you're looking forward to seeing what they turn
Okay,
into next
what
year.
about Newbie?
You said pick one, and I picked 2.
I know, but do you think of Newbie?
No.
Newbie's going to be 180 plus next
He's
year.
cute.
175.
Yeah,
he's
he's
going to be a
cute.
beautiful 5-year-old.
He'd look nice on the
What
wall.
about Junior?
I think the point that you're making is we got to have a lot of excitement coming in this fall.
So I'm hearing you're hunting for LL Beams and Ocho, and I get the rest.
I mean, that's.
Is that what?
I would be
I'm kidding.
happy with Ocho.
No,
I love big 8s.
The point is we have, as far as 5-year-olds next year, we'll have Ocho. The 5-year-olds older. We have Ocho, LL Beams, Newbie,
Yep.
Junior.
Yep.
Probably Barry if he makes it.
Well, yeah. Hopefully he makes it. What about Pokey?
Pokey, we're not sure if it's 3 or 4. Well, he's just skinny. All the deer are so skinny right now.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to say.
You hate judging them during the summer and right now.
What about Shorty?
If Shorty made it, Isaac would be huge. Shorty and Isaac would both be 5
Yeah.
and 6 next year. Isaac would be 6.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of those bucks that we're gearing up towards, and a lot of the habitat changes we're looking at, like, well, the one where you're talking about the bad tree.
Yeah.
I passed up Shorty walking right by there during early November.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to repeat that. Can you think of anything else we're doing right now in this week? I even took Jared around, our heavy equipment operator.
Oh, you did
Showed
do that.
him all the improvements we want to make,
What?
all the roads, the culvert, water hole locations, water hole
You
changes.
guys were probably out there for a good hour and a half going through.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Hour and a half going through all that stuff.
Yep.
We've had Joe out.
Yep.
He's helping us take care of some of the coyotes on the property.
Yeah, he already shot a big female,
Yep.
which is nice, and hopefully he'll attack some more
Yeah.
soon. So we'd like to take out a bunch of those. We'll get a bunch of raccoons too.
Or nest robbers.
Yeah, definitely nest robbers.
Yeah, protecting our
Really
turkeys
bad.
and pheasants.
Yeah, we've been
grouse.
seeing lots of pheasant.
Oh, it's been
Lots
so
of grouse
fun.
too, in multiple areas, pheasants and grouse. They keep exploding in population, so
It's been fun.
all that's good. I want to kind of turn the tide a little bit, and I want to get your experience, because I've been in the hunting industry now, full time since 2010.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually my 20th year going to clients.
Sure.
So 05 was my first year. This is now 20 seasons that I've been going to clients. I first went to the ATA show back in '95. I was a factory pro shooter from Matthews back in the day in the late '90s, early 2000s.
You're
Just
dating
going back
yourself
along.
a little bit.
I
there.
am, but I mean, that's my exposure to the hunting industry is going back a long time.
Sure.
And you've been exposed to the hunting industry because you were exposed through Tacticam, Ben Stern, the Reveal group right there, and actually using the Reveal cameras before they even came out.
Yeah.
You've had we have tons of the early run, what am I saying, pre-production models.
Yeah, and the Gen 1s.
Yeah,
the
all
old,
the stuff
old
that.
boys.
Yeah, and some of them have different guts in them than what they sold them as.
Right.
But we had the pre-production models, we have production post, and so it was kind of interesting with that. I got to see those for a couple years in action before I made the switch from Exodus to Reveal, and I made it for a lot of different reasons. A lot of people don't understand that, but for one, the innovation is second to none.
Sure.
We get to see all those little decisions and processes along the way, and the countdowns towards other launches and product.
And with that, Ben Stern has been a friend for a long time, and he's been a friend of yours too for a while now too. And I was telling someone just within the last couple months, man, it sure has been cool to watch him through the years and progress that company of Tacticam. So
Ben and his partners.
It's been really good.
Yeah, and so the hunting industry, I have some thoughts on it, and even just talking about changing partnerships. The way the hunting industry was in the past is there's really not, as a whole, and I'm not saying this with everybody, but as a whole, there's not a lot of loyalty. And that can go both ways, from partnerships, from manufacturer, or the actual sponsored hunting industry personality, whoever it is. But and that's kind of what we have tried to go against, and we've gone against some things with the seed company too, against the grain. But that's one thing. I've changed from Exodus to Reveal, and then from Sitka to First Light, and I've used. I'm on my 4th year with First Light, this calendar year, and I was with 3 years or 4 years with Sitka, whatever it was. And so I've had a good, but those are the only 2 that we switched along the way. What are your thoughts? Hunting industry and what you've seen and kind of some of the trends.
Over the years, I can think back in the beginning, I had a few friends that used a certain company, and just because they did, I'm like, oh, I'm going to. Didn't research what was better or what was best. That's just what I used. And through being, a hunter and buying different products and looking at different companies, you also look at social media and you see, these people that are like, oh, hey, be on our pro staff or be our one of our staffers and promote our product, and you get either product for free or a super discount. People just jump on that bandwagon. Doesn't matter what it is. they'll sign up. Basically, this is why I could be beneficial to your staff, and
For junk.
Yeah, exactly.
for
For stuff that you don't
really that's
even know about.
poor product, very poor craftsmanship, poor quality, whatever it might be.
Right. So I think I think this is probably, and this is my opinion, is that your younger people that are getting into the hunting industry, they don't have a lot of money. Or when I say getting into the hunting industry, getting into hunting alone, they don't have a lot of money. So if these companies are giving them any sort of discount or anything like that, all they have to do is sign up to be a field staff or whatever, of course they're going to do it.
Right.
You know, so you see stuff like that, and it's not genuine. It's just, here's a discount. Then you get to use products. Then you get to tell your buddies that, oh, this is the best, buy this, and it's really not.
I think it's so different in the hunting industry. And talk about no scoring for experts. What I mean about that is that so many people want to get into the hunting industry that they're quick to bash others that have been in the industry for decades, and just to make themselves look better, but they really don't have any experience to back it up. And there's no scoring for experts. And what I mean by that is baseball. If you're a hitting coach, someone can look at your lifetime average, what you contributed to baseball, professional baseball, and that translates into maybe being a hitting coach.
Right.
And I don't know if a lot of you remember, I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, Brandon Inge. He was an incredible third baseman, incredible fielding statistics, but his batting average always hovered around 230. I think something like that, really low. But then you have a Tony Gwynn that was over 300, had the beautiful swing. And someone like a Kirby Puckett with Minnesota. I'm dating myself again with these guys. But the bottom line is people look at their stats and say, yeah, this makes sense. We should listen to them. And even separating people within the professional ranks.
Sure.
So one person that batted 100 points on average, less than someone else, that translates into golf, your number of victories.
Sure.
I'm sure motocross.
Yeah.
You weren't considered a good motocross or an actual, quote, influencer unless you won.
Yeah, you had to win. You were getting whole shots. Yeah.
And so winning determined your status, and people could easily look at winning and grade that. In the hunting industry, people consider getting a degree winning.
Sure.
So we're going to get a degree, and we're going to be experts now.
Yeah.
And they totally overlook the fact that experience rules roost. That what you learned in a book in class means absolutely nothing. When you're trying to give advice on hunting, what products to use, like what we do, setting up property clients and habitat designs.
Well, you could also take that, and if you're in the hunting industry and you have your own TV show, you're an expert. But really, and we won't get into detail about what hunting show or what not. There's some really good ones out there, and then there's some other ones out there where you've
been closely involved with TV shows.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen that inside,
right.
Not through us, but
no, exactly. And so you see that someone gets a free product, or they're just looking for somebody who's going to give them money, and hey, we're going to use your product and we're going to put it in these TV shows and we'll market this for you, commercials, whatever. And you're in it, and it gives you such a terrible, bad taste in your mouth that you're like, this is garbage. Like, and there's so many people out there that watch it that you just want to basically how Dylan does it, where Dylan came in today with the video and he's like, oh, hey guys, sorry. And you just want to be like, this stuff is a joke. Like, none of this stuff is don't buy this garbage that these people are talking about. The only reason that they're using it is because they're getting it for free, or they're going and they're pitching some, look at my YouTube channel, or this is going to be on TV for everybody to see it, and we're going to pitch your product.
Well, something I learned a long time ago was you're not going to be successful in the hunting industry until you can tell manufacturers, as far as getting partnerships and sponsorship. Call it partnership. That sounds better. But you're not going to be successful with partnership unless you could show this prospective manufacturer that you want to work with that you've already done something. Sure. You're already there. So if your whole game is telling them what you're going to do and what your channel, what your audience, what your reach will be, what your influence will be, then you're going to strike out. And so it's one of those things that you need to get a whole bunch of experience. And experience is what rules. That's what your score is. And when it comes to, if you want to give advice on shooting mature bucks, you better be able to do it on your own.
Yep.
in different states and on public land, around the country. And you better do it for 10, 15 years or more. And once you have that experience level, now you can actually teach someone what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because even on habitat improvement, if you learn this in a classroom, but you don't have the practical application of actually going out in the field and living it yourself, then how can you teach a client how to do it? Because you can't just look at 10 rules for managing property and then you just go out. It has to be years and years. And so the people that work with us, they adhere to the Whitetail Habitat Solutions concepts, the concepts that I coined and wrote about in 2012. Mm-hmm. And I wrote that book because more as these are my ideas. This is the way I look at property. I wrote that when I was 42 years old, lots of experience, mm-hmm. and frankly, I didn't like people copying it. I wanted to put it in writing in that book. These are my ideas, and that's why I came out with the 2014 food plot book, my Mature Success by Design in 2015, my weather algorithm and weather hunting book, 2018, because I like putting that stuff down. Because now when all these people that haven't done anything look at and say and copy this stuff, you can always go back and say that's where that originated.
Right.
No one was talking about this online. And even the mock scrapes, that's copied often by people, mm-hmm. and it's flattering because I know where it originated.
Right.
Now, hunting industry. Let's say a person walks up to you and says, my son or daughter wants to get in the hunting industry. What would you tell them?
Don't. I'm just kidding. I watch you. I watch Dylan, and you two are genuine. And I'm not just saying that because I have to, but it's just like with the amount of work that just the two of you put in to continue that, to be genuine in what you do and teaching, but you still learn along the way the entire time. And it's not...
Yeah, you never stop learning.
No, you don't. And you're not just ever chasing the almighty dollar. However, you have that experience underneath your belt and you continue to teach people, as does Dylan. Dylan's a little younger than you, a lot younger
years.
than you. And it's fun asking Dylan questions that I don't know, because when I ask him, I know he is going to tell me, one, to the best of his ability, but two, he already has the experience in doing it. So I guess I would tell somebody, if you're going to do it, like, don't start a business. I mean, I don't even know.
So here's the thing, like, you'd want to almost... I went a different route. I was in banking for 8.5 years. I had my appraisal business for 11. The last 5 years of my appraisal business, I had my whitetail business, so they overlapped. Someone's into it. Don't think you're going to get out of school and start getting in the hunting industry.
Right.
Instead, plan on working for someone else and never stop learning.
Yeah, do an internship.
Yeah.
Dylan did one.
Yeah, and then I think I hunted out of state in Pennsylvania for the first time in 1993. I was 23 years old. Started hunting public and private land when I was 16. Mm-hmm. And so that bought my first parcel in 95. Didn't have any money. Didn't even have a house at the time.
Sure.
But bought my first deer hunting parcel. And, that was my passion and love. But even then I wasn't ready. It didn't matter how much experience I had from 2016 to buying my first parcel. It wasn't until I was 35 years old in 2005 that I started my actual whitetail business. So it was after a lot of experience.
I was going to say, once you started that in 2005, you had already gone through a lot of self-taught on your own. And a lot of trial. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of trial and error. So you can't go to school for this. You can have a wildlife management degree. That's great. That potentially would be helpful in some aspects, but you need to have years and time underneath your belt in the woods and experiencing things that eventually you want to talk about and be credible with.
Yeah, and that's what in the hunting industry, there's no measurement for experience level, and there's no way to do that.
No.
There's no way to keep score. Everyone's an expert in the hunting industry, everyone. And so they're quick to bash other people, and they wouldn't have done that other than they think they're going to have a career. So
Sure.
they look at it like, well, I'm the expert. They're not the expert. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to start this business and I'm not going to compete with you. I don't really care if you compete with me. You
That's
have no
okay.
experience, and you can start the business, and there's plenty of room for everybody. The problem is there's not a lot of experts, and so there's very, very few at the top of the pyramid
Hmm.
that do their own craft, whether you believe in the way they do it or not. They're established, and it takes many, many years for someone else to be established in that and do that. And you'll find it's a long road, but it can be done. It's just a lot of work. Part of building the business is I've written 5 books. I've written over 600 whitetail strategy articles for myself on my own channels of distribution, website, and then we're in the 1,300, I think 1,300 videos now,
Hmm.
let alone going to over 1,500 clients. So you continually to learn. Those notes and videos are like taking notes myself of what I've learned and then putting it on paper and then teaching other people. And so just those articles, videos, it's constant. You have to put your name out there, and it takes years. And that's why I'd always encourage someone to learn how to write, learn how to speak, learn marketing background just on your own. YouTube things, Google things. How to get 100,000 views in a video, how to get 10,000, how to get 10,000 followers, subscribers. You find the same good information out there over and over again by people that have a score, people
Sure.
that have that are experienced, and so kind of all that leads. The experience in the background of what goes into WHS and all we do,
Yeah.
and so what experience level goes into the seed
Hmm.
and Pure Wildlife Blends. We changed the name to Pure Wildlife Blends. Why, Jen? Put you on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
It's a cool name.
We wanted it to be a standalone. It still has everything to do with Whitetail Habitat Solutions, but we wanted it to have its own name, its own identity. And so that's why we changed that.
And what about our seed?
And it truly is pure. And we want to continue to go down that path of teaching people truly about pure seed blends. No coatings, no junk in there, a truly pure blend, and that was the reason we changed that name.
Right. And that's part of it. I feel a little bit more free to talk about, our past experience with seed. I really worked hard to establish myself in the food plot industry and learn about this, and started experimenting back in 99,
Mm-hmm.
98, and even wrote in Quality Whitetails. That was my first article. Right there, it says March of 2004. I wrote a lot of articles
Mm-hmm.
for Quality Whitetails, and at that time, you couldn't just write, the magazine articles that I wrote for Quality Whitetails. I could get in anywhere. If I wrote an article for Michigan Outdoors, for example, it probably wouldn't get into Quality Whitetails.
Mm-hmm.
They demanded a certain level of, oh boy, not only experience, but you had to have good information that could be backed by science, and that's both good and bad.
Sure.
It limits someone. If they're only going to look at science, they're never going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to test and experience. John Azoga taught me that a long time ago. Those experiences of all that testing that I went through and writing about it, and that went in to help someone else start a seed industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the mixes, the names, everything. And at some point, we talked to this company, and we told them a year in advance we want to start our own seed company. We want them to be our wholesaler, our distribution. And we talked about that. We got pricing. It seemed outrageously high. For
Mm-hmm.
example, the pricing they gave to us was about the same as the pricing on their website for the same thing. We ended up having to charge $10 more than what we thought was the national average because the prices were so high.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of problems with distribution. Purchase orders that were sent out to clients 10 days late, 7 days late, 5 days late. Even though we gave immediate payment, there's no plus 30 days or net 60, net 30.
Right.
It was immediate. Get an invoice on a Saturday, make sure they have a check on Monday. Thousands of dollars. Gave them a heads up on when this would come out. And my goal was for them to make a few dollars off everything we sold, and then start doing that for other people
Right.
and do well for themselves. When it came down to it, we found that seed we could buy from the same places they were buying it from for 1/3 the price, and that was a huge slap in the face.
Yes.
In fact, we were sitting at Lacrosse Seed was one of the ones we
Yeah.
interviewed. Deer Creek was another.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting with Lacrosse Seed, and they gave us the price. We were in their boardroom, and they gave us the price, and I remember looking at it, and it was I looked at it and I said, this per price pound it's more expensive than we're paying right now. And they said, no, that's for the whole half acre of seed. And it was 1/3.
We all know what that sinking feeling is in your stomach, and you're truly just kind of a slap in the face, and you're just like,
I felt sick to my stomach, actually.
for sure. It's just you wanted to puke, and it wasn't because of the money. It was purely just because you just felt totally taken advantage of.
Well, and along with that, which was really cool, is when we made that switch, and last year actually blew up and came out with our 11, 12 blends we have now. We have 15, 16 blends, seeds we sell.
And two, the nice thing about that is Wes is the one that ships out that seed mainly. I help a little bit, but it's typically Weston, and he's shipping out all that seed the same day or that next day. So anybody who orders that, they're getting their seed immediately.
And if someone emails or calls about seed, Wes is the guy. He responds to everybody.
Right.
Jen does, some people too. Unfortunately, I couldn't have any other part of the business if I did that.
No, you do answer a lot of questions from me.
Right, that filter through.
Right.
But all that being said, when we were able to switch suppliers, which we've been loyal to because that wholesaler moved to another company and we went with them because we like working with them. He sat with us at the kitchen table, went over all the blends.
Real nice guy.
He's done projections for us. He did projections for us this year too. He breaks down every seed. It wasn't projections like you're going to make X dollars more. It was, I think your sales are going to go up 32.4% this year. I think that was about the number.
Yeah, I think it's like down to the like super micro percentage, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and he tells us why. He goes over every blend. But what was cool about that is we were able to lower our prices.
Right.
So I remember like our Brassica blend, we had to price it $49.50, and people said, you're trying to rob people. Hey, we were making a terrible net profit margin on that was well below standards for the industry to even stay in business or have an employee or anything. To run a company. But we were able to not only improve our profit margin, but cut our cost to the consumer from $49.50 for a half acre of brassica to $37.50.
Right.
This year, I don't know if it'll go up to $39.50. It depends on what's going on with the market. Our cost is going up a little bit, as in everywhere. In fact, our wholesaler told us that our costs will keep going up because we don't want coated seed.
Right.
So coated seed means that you can fit 7 pounds of seed in a 10-pound bag, and so the cost to everybody's lower. And we don't want coated junk seed. If it's 10 pounds of clover, it's 10 pounds of clover. We don't want 7 pounds with a bunch of lime in there to fill space and fool people.
And because they're making more coated seeds these days, it costs us more to have uncoated seeds.
It's crazy. And that's why we changed the name to Pure Wildlife Blends. Yes. And even in the brassica, they're starting to coat brassica seeds.
Which
we found out this year. And there's absolutely zero need for it. There's nothing good. If anyone tells you it has to be coated for this improved germ rates, it doesn't. We all need tons of lime per acre, not 3 pounds in a bag.
How many tons of lime do you need per acre?
It depends. Mine in the UP was anywhere from 4 to 5 tons per acre initially. And so that was times 8.5 acres. And then I did it again. And then another pound 3 years after that. So
on average, what do you think people are doing? Like, is it like?
I would say, it's all over the place because some people don't need any.
Sure.
I would say on average, the average would be 1.5 to 2 tons per acre, just on average.
Sure. Okay, so that was my point. Needs. So you need more than just what's coated on that tiny little seed.
3 pounds in a bag.
Basically, what Jeff is saying is that when you weigh that bag, you're weighing, that coating, and so you're actually getting less seed. So when they say it plants a half acre, 4 pounds plants a half acre. It really doesn't because you're not getting 4 pounds of seed.
No, you're getting 3 point whatever.
Right. However, most people say that their food plots are bigger than they are. So that's what a lot of the seed industry is going off of.
Hunters always more is better, right?
Right. I have an acre, but really they're planting a half acre. So nobody realizes that they're never getting enough seed because they actually are planting less than what they say they are.
It was painful. going through that seed process?
It was.
And switching, it was horrible. It was sleepless nights, and
sure was.
you felt sick to your stomach, and not because you're doing anything wrong, but again, because you felt taken advantage, or I don't even know what to say. It was
I don't
used
know.
and abused. I don't really know. It was
Maybe.
frustrating. So
it was a learning experience.
Having our own company, and actually then we hired Wes.
Yeah.
And even you were out boxing seed till 2-3 in the morning.
Wee hours in the morning.
Yeah, before Wes, and then Wes and his kids have come to help.
Yeah.
And but anyways, that's a journey that we took with the seed company. This year we're expanding our line. We have a spring seeding of clover. It has an annual rye in it, and that's for a cover crop that dies later. And so it's more of a cover crop built into it. We didn't want to offer like an oat, because an oat is a really big seed and doesn't mix well with a perennial. So we have our spring perennial that's different than our fall perennial. Our brassica and clover blend is changed to reflect our pure clover blend that we have. Well, pure clover meaning all perennial. Clover, chicory, birchfoot, trefoil, and alfalfa. And in our brassica, like we talked about in the past, the strategy with that is we take out the big bulbs to a very high percentage anyways, so that they don't take up space for the spring perennial that's coming in after you plant it in the fall. Those brassicas die. Another thing too, those turnips die and rot. That takes up space. Imagine a softball where no clover is going to grow. But what does grow there in the middle of summer? Weeds. So not only do you limit the amount of clover that can actually come into the plot, but then you promote weed growth in those rotting out husks too. So anyways, there's a lot of that takes me back into the early 2000s and then all the experimentation phases and mixing and adding and things like that. So bottom line, a long process, and kind of goes back to that hunting industry thing. Whether it's seed companies, whether it's someone trying to promote themselves, YouTube channel, speak. There's a lot of whiteboard copies, which is kind of cool. I've heard of people even doing the same topic within a few days, which is I don't really care. Because if you don't know the actual depth and you didn't actually live this stuff on your own, it sounds silly when you try to convey it to someone else when you've never lived it or known it. And again, the hunting industry is kind of weird with that. Now, that being said, one of the things when we go to the ATA, we love to do is our dinners.
Yeah.
And we're doing that because we like spending time with good people in the hunting industry.
Yeah, and getting good people together with good people.
Yeah, and that's kind of our goal is we appreciate these people at XYZ Company, Lacrosse Boots, or Huntwise, whoever it might be. Jack Turner from Family Traditions at all our dinners, and we're at all his. But
yeah, we kind of like that guy.
Yeah, so he's a close friend of ours. But bottom line is we want good people, like Jen said, to meet good people. And I like that. That's one of my favorite things to do, and that's why I hope the ATA continues. That's something, and you see this in the hunting industry where people don't change their ways, and it could be marketing, it could be the structure of an organization, but they don't change and they get left behind. And I've seen people like that at a retail level, and I've seen people like that with companies that were on top and then they go away. And so that's why we want to change things and offer this podcast, actually a little bit personal side. We have a commitment. Dylan and I shot 6 shorts yesterday. I really want to put 3 shorts out a week, 2 at the least. And so we have that commitment. So we need to change and be flexible. But that's really common in the hunting industry. And the ATA show has been one of my favorites. First time I went back was I think in 96. And back in the day, quick story. You got to meet April Carter. April and Jerry Carter releases. I used those back in the day because I was a target shooter. And it was around that time. The show was in Indy. It was my first show. I didn't have a lot of money to spend. I was 26 years old.
You had really no money to spend.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Well, let's say I had like $80 for the weekend for food, and that was it. So I didn't have a lot of money. And they wanted to go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse. And it was my friend, the late Jim Morrow, who I really love him to death. Wish he was still here. Out of Mount Clemens in Rochester, he had a shop there. Started shooting for Jim in '92, so going back a long ways. But Tom Breckenridge was probably there. The late Tom Breckenridge, another very close shooting friend. These names from Michigan, it's crazy. A lot of strong, ties to those people. And there's probably a couple of other people, and I hate to leave people out, but we were all going to dinner at St. Elmo's Steakhouse, and April and Jerry were coming along. I don't know who invited who, but I'm looking at the menu before we went in, and I couldn't really afford the shrimp cocktail, just the shrimp cocktail, and let alone get a drink. So I'm looking at a drink meaning a Coca-Cola and the shrimp cocktail.
Or a water.
And then how am I going to leave a tip?
Cocktail.
I still need to eat something tomorrow. Even if it's just fast food, I'm looking at my money, and it just didn't add up. And I was really stressing out about it. And of course, there's all these industry people there. I was trying to get on the Matthews Pro staff. Back in the day, it was Herb and Mike Jordan, Phil McCoy, Larry Weir. They were on Matthews' staff. That's going back a long ways. Derek Phillips might have been on staff. He eventually was a shoot staff coordinator. I don't think he was then. But bottom line is, it was almost kind of embarrassing. And so I got to tell this story to April at the ATA. And I told her that all of a sudden Jerry spoke up and said, "Hey, you guys, I got this. I got the check.
Dinner's on me."
And man, my heart was just like, oh my gosh, my stomach just returned to my chest. And, and I felt kind of elated, and I told April that story, and she said, "That's so funny because Jerry hardly ever offered to pay." That was one of the few times, so she remembered that he did that, and I certainly remember it, and so I wanted to thank her at the ATA. I haven't seen her for 20 years, at least 25 years, and so part of returning the favor. And it's not that we choose people we don't think have the money. It's the bottom line is we want to have to dinner with good people.
Right.
For them to meet good people, because there's incredible people in the hunting industry, and you find if you keep your nose clean and you're loyal, then that goes a long ways.
And believe it or not, it's very, very small.
Yes, very, very small. Isn't that crazy?
It
Because
is.
Jen's on a lot of our, you're on a lot of our meetings that we have Zoom, and it's crazy how someone will say, "Yeah, I worked for this optics company, and I had tried to talk to them, and they worked here, and then this person's working with them now, and I used to work for that person in the industry," and they all, I've been consistent, but as far as employees of these companies, a lot of times they're just trading places because they're good people, and they just they get gobbled up. If they let go here, they go here.
And it doesn't take long. Yeah.
Josh Hilliard was at one of our dinners. He worked for Tethered. We might work with them on public land this year, but we don't even work with Tethered, but we want Tethered there because Josh and Taylor Chamberlain are great people. I know them, and then Rob got to sit in place of Taylor with Josh, and we had an awesome time.
Really cool story.
But Josh Hilliard is an incredible person. He was an he was at QDMA. Back when it was a QDMA, he was a regional. Then he worked for First Light, and then he got gobbled up by Tethered immediately when he left First Light. And so,
but then you talk about someone like that Rob kid. What a story. Professional skateboarder
around the world.
Wanted to get into the hunting industry. Literally, I mean,
they told him no.
They
told, well, you can be an intern, but we don't hire from it.
Right. Well, you can be an intern. So and when the intern program is over,
he was 38 years old.
Right. When the intern program is over, we don't hire you. This is just a learning thing. So he told his entire family, unpaid internship, "Hey, when I'm done, I'm going to be able to, work for this company if they like me," fully knowing that they do not hire interns. Went in there, quit his job, was an intern for free, worked his butt off. Yeah. And at the end of the internship, they offered him a job.
And that's an example of what's opposite of a lot of the youth nowadays is he was willing to work his rear end off. He was obviously in a position where he could work for no money. Yeah, and only his spouse knew, or his girlfriend.
Yeah, but she didn't know. She didn't even know that he wasn't going to get offered a job at the end. Yeah, so basically he just took a huge risk.
He believed in himself.
Right.
I would imagine he was a bit cocky. But you know what? The thing is, though, after having dinner with him, I can't wait to see him again.
I know, I like him.
So
but there's a difference between being too cocky. He had arrogance and confidence, and when you have a good blend of those, rock and roll.
Right.
And he
Yeah,
had
and
that
he's
perfect blend.
he's a special person, so I hope he stays in the hunting industry because he'll be able to write his own way,
Yeah.
in
He'll
the
do a
hunting
great
industry
job.
and do a great job. So again, good people with good
Yeah,
people, and
exactly
and there's
right.
so many good people in the hunting industry. One of the groups I want to mention that you've been to 2 meetings with them now, Redneck
Yeah.
and Danny Little.
Mm-hmm.
You got to meet Danny Little, and
Yeah.
then Jeff Bergman
Mm-hmm.
from Providence, Russ,
Yeah.
who's one of the founders, whatever,
Yeah.
at Redneck Blinds. Just such good people.
Genuine.
And Danny is a person that, so he's the type, I met with him like 2016. He was a client of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, I want to sponsor you. I didn't have any monetary sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I want to sponsor you. I want you to give me a media kit. So I said, sure. Okay, I'll do that. And so then I went back and looked what a media kit was. I didn't even know. So
Google didn't even exist.
I had to ask Dylan because he helped me with that. And basically telling someone what you're worth,
Yeah.
and them having to agree. So he was more of a fatherly figure, and
Yeah.
he really helped me with that. And it's always meant a lot. And still to this day, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of people go into these meetings. They either don't have a contract, they don't have a partnership, they're hoping to get it, or they're wondering if they're going to stay. And Danny even told me one time, he's like, I want to see your numbers. I want to see harder numbers. So he's taught me all along the way. This is going back many years. Show me your numbers.
Sure.
Show me why you're worth this. And
Yeah.
so
Basically, show me your score in the industry.
exactly. And so I can remember one meeting I was going to. I was actually pretty nervous, and I think it would have been 2018. And maybe 2017, but it was right around there. And right away, it was actually the January of 2018. But right away,
Sure.
he said, "Hey, I want to let you know. This is when I'm already nervous going into the meeting. He's at that time a partner for a few years. Loved Danny, and loved Redneck Blinds. And right away, this is what a good person in the industry does. He says right away, "Hey, I just want to let you know before the meeting, we want to keep you. This isn't about you leaving or anything. Just we want."
Yeah.
We want you to stay with Redneck. And then this year.
Yeah, one of the first things he said was he came over, shook your hand, and just said, "Hey, I want you to know I'm really proud of you."
Yeah.
So it's when you have guys like that that are just like so genuine in the industry.
Yeah. Someone
say
who
that
gives so much.
right, and
I'm not talking about giving for partnerships. I'm talking about giving to the unfortunate. He has a really big heart for the homeless.
a really good charity that he gives to.
Oh my gosh, he gives so much. Redneck gives so
Homeless
much to people.
veterans and homeless, in general.
Yeah,
and-
employee-owned company now.
Right.
So, anyways, we get
Great
off on
guy.
these little
Sorry about
tangents,
that.
but that's the thing. We talk about some of the bad in the hunting industry, but by aligning yourself with these good people, it was funny. Jeremy told me from Deer Grow, Jeremy Flynn. He told me in 2016. He said, "Be very careful who you take sponsorships from, who you partner with, because those partnerships." And the companies you align yourself with give you a reputation of good, bad, and different forever. So if you're constantly just chasing the dollar and working with cheap companies, that comes through in the perception of people
Exactly.
for you. And so, that being said, the hunting industry, our pure wildlife blends, we only want quality.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a position like with partnerships, it doesn't matter if we want to work with that company and they don't want to work with us. We'll just keep working with that company. We're stubborn that way. That's a product we want to use. That's what we're going to use because we think it's the best,
Right.
and we want to use it. So we've been very, very fortunate. Let me see what time it is. We got to go pick Jackson up. Oh my goodness, we got to go.
Yep.
So we'll wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed this banter back and forth, a little bit more personal glimpse. We'll have more strategic topics in the future. We just kind of wanted to set the foundation for this. You can comment as you want below, but I can warn you, when you pass that idiot factor, then I just block you from the channel. I've probably done that with about 25, 30 people. So feel privileged if you've had that done to yourself, but they're really dumb comments. I don't need to see that or whatever. We have the channel to teach and to discuss. And sometimes you have a bratty kid up in the back of the room that you just have to fail and get out of there. That's some of you, but very, very, very small percentage. We have such great subscribers, people on here, so we thought this was a way of you getting a glimpse into our lives and what we do. That's why we wanted to start out with the personal side, whether it was our family or what's going on with the land, things like that going forward, a little bit of our experience with the hunting industry and kind of this basis. So we hope you like this going forward. And now the most important time.
Jen's got jokes.
Jen's got jokes. Let's give the people a refresher. It was a potato chip, variety joke that you said a long time ago. It wasn't. It was the Dorito.
Yeah, that was a good
Okay. So this is kind of, just to build this up to Jen's jokes and her time.
So you
and
want
this
me
is
to
her special time. Yeah, tell that joke first.
Okay. What did one Dorito farmer say to the other Dorito farmer? Cool ranch.
Yes, see, these are brilliant, right?
I think they're great jokes.
Yeah, okay. So this is the kind of joke that you've waited this whole
The
time
whole
for.
time for.
If you came here just for the jokes, then you're either very frustrated right now and disappointed, or you can't wait for the
hear the next one.
30 seconds.
And the next joke
Take
is,
it away.
where did the white-tailed deer go to school?
Ooh, is this one we can say out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sure can. Where did the white-tailed deer go?
They went to Buck You.
Wow. Where'd you get that one?
You told me that one, and it was just so funny.
It was so stupid. I made it up.
Did you really?
Of course.
I laughed
It's
so
one of those dad
hard.
jokes. I got a mug around here. It's not here right now,
It's
but it says
somewhere.
Dad Joke Champion. And so I'm official.
You sure are.
See, I have the score. Like I have the score, the mug for the jokes and stuff.
That's because your daughter gave you a pity mug, I think. But you do have good dad jokes.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyways.
Anyway, 1 out of 10. So anyways, thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing, for watching these. Every Thursday, this is going to replace one of our weekly strategy videos. We're actually shooting 2 this week, so we have one for next Thursday. The following Thursday, we'll shoot a bunch, so we have them in advance when I'm gone on client trips. That was another thing too. I'd be gone on client trips, and to shoot a podcast,
Right.
It was tough. And
Can't
so
do
this is different because Dylan and I shoot one less video per week.
Mm-hmm.
So we do this together, and then he's editing it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of nice too. He's throwing in where we need edits. He'll throw it in there for B-roll. But anyways, now we got to go pick up Jax.
We're late.
And I think he had a good day.
I think so.
Yeah,
He
we'll
kissed
see.
his first girl today, so.
Or did she kiss him?
She kissed him. I know.
That's terrible. He's getting old fast.
Oh, my God.
Are they going on a date?
No.
Oh, wait, he's not even 2. So, anyways, signing off. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys watching the YouTube channel, but I don't know if everyone knows everything that we have to offer, whether it's on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, our website, or WHS Wildlife Blends, our seed company. Also, Instagram you can check out. I'm very active on Instagram, putting strategies on there, photos of what we do every day. Much more active there than Facebook. But our seed, web classes, books, clients, articles. I have over 600 articles on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. Everything whitetail strategy. Of course, we have hats on there. And then make sure to check us out on Instagram again. But lots of stuff to offer. We're always coming out with new things. And this isn't the end of it. We have more things coming soon. Make sure to check us out.